All right, it says I'm live. I hope I am. I'm looking around, make sure my microphone is on. Hello, everybody. If you're here, let me know. And type in the comment section. Tell me where you are. Come in, everybody. Push in. Let's hang out and talk and whatnot. I have something here to distract you, and it's this dot right here, which I think is from a little hanging tree branch when I was riding the other day. I'm not sure. I just saw it. It's like a little owie. All right, everybody. Hello, my name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation Show. Glad to be here. I'm having to dip down a little bit. Happy to be here. I'm going to be your host for the afternoon, for this afternoon edition. Hello, June in the UK. Good to see you. Nathan, good to see you. Everybody else, Ethan, glad to see you. Everybody, come on in here. Push in. Push into the room. I'm not going to say anything about masks, and I'm not going to say anything about social distancing, but just come on in. Let's talk. You guys type into the comment section where you are. Hello, last first. Glad to see you guys. It's middle of the afternoon, somewhat on the 2nd of October. I got to do this box thing, then we'll come back and we chat. All right, you guys, let me know if the audio and the video is working well. I don't want to get too far into this and just be chatting to myself. It looks like the microphone's on. Sometimes I leave that little box checked and we don't have any microphone. All right, let me read this first question. Hey, by the way, this is going to be a Q&A session. So if you don't ask questions, it's going to be over like that. And let me tell you why. Because I went to go take water to the goats and the sheep, and the truck was dead. And I couldn't get, the battery was dead. So I got other car, hooked up that car with jumper cables. But I'm here for you, and I'm glad to be here. It's a beautiful day in Central Texas, about, I don't know, high 70s right now. Supposed to get up into the low 80s, just beautiful blue skies, nice, cool breeze. It feels great in here. All right, Nathan asks, what type of government would you choose if you could run your own country, totally hypothetically? I believe that the only one that we're permitted to have is a constitutional monarchy. And so I am a constitutional monarchist, not because I get to choose my own way or whatever. I just believe that biblically, that's what we're supposed to have. God gave us permission to have a king, even though he didn't want us to have one. And we shouldn't have wanted one, but we asked permission. And he said, I'll give you permission. And he told us all the bad things that were going to happen if we had a king. And all of those bad things happened. But he never changed his mind, and there's no place in the scripture where anybody else went and asked permission to change us to anything else. So that's where we are. Until I find in the Old and New Testament some absolutely plain and simple, literal permission to run some other form of government, then I'm a constitutional monarchist. In the meantime, because that's not really in the cards for us right now, the world doesn't want it. They've gone past the ancient regime. I'm stuck with what we have. And so I consider myself a occupied country until such time as the king arrives. And never forget that Jesus called himself the King of Kings, not the King of Presidents. And so that's the way I look at it. I don't judge anybody who disagrees with me. I happen to be right. It's impossible to prove me wrong because I only will use the direct scriptures as proof and not your interpretations of it. I'm a big fan of Samuel Rutherford. I think he was probably the wisest Christian outside of Apostle Paul who ever lived. And he laid out when the king can be disobeyed. He was completely and perfectly right, but he remained a monarchist. And that's the way I am. Is there a difference between a constitutional monarchy and America's government? Yes, we don't have a monarchy in America. We have you could call it a monarchy of the people, which the scriptures completely reprehend. And but other than that, yeah, we don't have a constitutional monarchy. We have what's called a republic. And it's great. It's actually a pretty good system. Back when it was designed, if it was working that way, it's a pretty good system. It's just not biblical. And I've heard all the arguments. Don't think that you're going to come up with something new. I believe in the principle that God gives us permission to do things. We don't just do what we want because he didn't say not to. We have to have permission to do it. And when they decided they wanted to go from judges to kings, they went and asked permission. And he said, you don't want this. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. But if you want it, I'll give it to you. And they said, we want it. So he gave it to them. And until somebody shows me where anybody went back and asked for another go at it, that's what I'm stuck with. And who cares what I think? Nobody should care what I think. I'm not going to be the president. But if things go the way they're going and we have societal meltdown and who knows what kind of stuff goes on, perhaps somebody who knows history would like to go back and look at the 1,000 years or more when things worked pretty good. I like the idea that the apostles taught and that Christ taught, Samuel Rutherford taught, that the king is not God and the king can be resisted. And we have specific rules concerning that. Hello, War Dogheim. Good to see you. Hello, Facebook user who didn't give us permission to use your name on the chat. So, yes, there's a difference between constitutional monarchy and America's government. In a constitutional monarchy, we would not have these armies of bureaucrats, and we would not have this constant bickering. You got one guy or one gal, probably one guy is better, my personal opinion, who runs things according to the law. And if he commands that which the Bible forbids or forbids that which the Bible commands, then you just tell him no. And if he gets bad enough, you throw him out, get another one. So that's the way I look at it. Nobody really cares. It doesn't matter. Don't get worked up because I don't like your political system and I don't participate in it. I just comment on it. That's all I do. Hey, let's get some questions in here. You got to do this or I'm going to go up there and try to jumpstart my truck. It's just a farm truck. Just back from Idaho, a short trip and a great question. It is a great question and we need more like that. In fact, everybody should hit the like button. If you're not already liking the show, if you're not already subscribed to the show, I'd like you to subscribe. If you're watching this, if you're a future person, by the way, hello, future people. I'm supposed to greet you. Future people are the people that aren't watching this while it's live, and it doesn't say live up here somewhere, and you're watching it in the future. And I just want to let you future people know you don't even experience this yet. It hasn't even happened yet for you. Is that right? No, it's already happened. It's in the past for you. I got confused for a minute. For us, you haven't happened yet. You're still haven't even decided if you're going to watch this video in the future. But in the future, we've already gone through this all. It's crazy when you think about it. I'm talking to you, but you haven't even decided to watch this video yet. That's how future people work. Future people hit the like button, subscribe. All of you who are here, after this video is over, don't interrupt the video, but go over to YouTube, find me, Michael Bunker, find the show, and subscribe. I'm not seeing any questions come up, so this could be the shortest show in history. I only chose to do the show today at this time because we got things to do tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Danielle works, and I have to pick her up at 6:30, so I can't do the regular show at 7 o'clock. So I did a show early or late the other day at 9 o'clock because I want to allow people who are up at that time to be able to see it every once in a while. And today I decided to do it early because we got European friends and Australian friends, and perhaps they're up and they might want to watch it too. But that's what I decided. And so if you guys want to get in here and ask questions, then let's get them in there. For some reason, I'm not seeing any questions. And so maybe that's what it is. Don't worry about most likely, War Dogheim, nobody asked any questions. It's getting questions is like pulling teeth. I think we had some pretty good questions last time, but don't worry about if somebody's asked them before. Thoughts on the debate between Biden and Trump? Yeah, what a crap storm. Absolutely. 2 children Street fighting. I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed the company I was with. I got to, my wife and I got to watch it with some really good friends of ours. And the only reason we watched it is because I knew exactly what it was going to be. And I told everybody exactly what it was going to be on my Facebook. And it turned out exactly like it was. Now, I understand that some of you are in one camp or the other, and some of you rooted for one person or the other. My position is these people are poorly behaved. And here's what would happen if I was either the moderator or I was one of the contestants in the debate. First of all, I would have won that debate so handily, they would have called off any debates for the future because it would have been over. Here's what I would have said if I was the moderator or if I was in the debate. If you can't follow instructions, if you can't listen to the rules of a debate, which has no meaning, by the way, I'll tell you why it has no meaning in a minute. If you can't follow the rules, and the rules were listen to the other person for 2 minutes without interrupting. And I know who interrupted first. I know the first two exchanges, the 2 minutes went without interruptions. And I know who they're always going to blame it on. And I watched the debate. But here's the thing. I don't care who you are. If you can't follow instructions, if you can't follow the rules, you are not qualified to be the president of the United States because you are to be restricted by rules. And if I can't trust you to shut your mouth for 2 minutes while the other person's talking, now during the general discussion part, there's going to be talking over each other and arguing and whatnot. But during that 2 minutes, if you can't shut up, you are disqualified from being the president because there's other important rules about assassinations and stuff you can't do. If you cannot follow that simple instruction to shut your mouth for 2 minutes, you are disqualified from the presidency. And if I was the moderator, I would have opened with that, knowing that it was going to happen. And if I was one of the contestants, I would have calmly, during my 2 minutes, looked into the to the camera, and I would have said, listen, you're going to notice something. I can be quiet for 2 minutes and listen to somebody else because I might learn something. I might change my mind about something. They may say something that's new to me or that I hadn't thought of. And I also want to be able to respond. And so I should shut up and listen. The other person doesn't seem to believe that. Obviously has a problem with rules. So that's what I would have said. And by the way, like I said, I would have knocked this whole debate out of the park. And that's just not me talking. I'm really, really good at this. I can think on my feet really, really fast. What do you think? Okay, hold on. All right. What do you think about the latest pick for the Supreme? I think she's qualified, and I think that that's what the rule is. Somehow, way back, I don't know, in the 80s, we got off of the idea that the Senate's consultation and approval of the candidate was supposed to be about their qualifications, not about their opinions. We shouldn't even be asking their opinions. Their opinions are immaterial. We don't choose or approve a candidate for the Supreme Court based on their opinions. They should be able to say, and they should be instructed to say, I will not comment on any opinions that might come before the court. That's it. Their qualifications is their resume. Are they qualified? Are they the right age? Are they a felon? That's it. That's what should be considered. Nothing else. So I have a problem with all 9 of the justices being from the same 2 religions for as far back as I can remember. I have a problem with that. This, like I said before, nobody cares what I think. It doesn't matter what I think. That's just my opinion. I think that she's qualified. I think they should bring it before the Senate. I think they should have a vote. And then we should move on. Here's one thing I want to remind you. It never turns out like you think it's going to turn out. I've got images and memes of when David Souter was being brought brought up as a Supreme Court justice. And the left was saying, oh my gosh, we're not going to have abortion anymore. He's going to put women in chains and all this kind of stuff. And he turned out to be one of the most liberal justices in the history of the court. So it never turns out how you think it's going to turn out. It's never, here's the thing you got to remember about the election for the presidency and the Supreme Court nomination. These people have too much power. If we care about it, if we spend all of our time worrying about it, if we spend billions of dollars, and that's how much is being spent over the last couple of election cycles, arguing and beating each other up and digging up mud and having those kind of things going on, those people have too much power. That's the only reason we care. We should get back to a point where we don't care. Again, that goes to my position on constitutional monarchy. If the law is established and the law is the king, which means the law is above everything, we don't have to worry about flunkies who happen to sit in a seat for a period of time. They're not allowed to do certain things. That's what the law doesn't say you can do whatever you want. The law says, here's the things the government cannot do. Here's the things the king cannot do, the president cannot do, the Supreme Court justices cannot do. And that's inviolate. That's what we should have. Our problem is that we've let these people just grab more and more and more power. And that's why we're worried about it. That's why people aren't talking to their parents, aren't talking to their children, or unfriending their brothers and sisters and all this kind of stuff, because the people who are running for office, when they get there, are going to have so much power, they can disenfranchise you. They can have you arrested. They could have you questioned at Guantanamo. They can take away your fundamental rights. We're worried because they're going to take away our guns, or they're going to take away abortion, or they're not going to take away abortion, or they're going to do this and do that. They don't have the right to do any of that stuff. That stuff ought to be codified, and I believe it's codified in the scriptures and the Bible. I mean, and our laws reflect that. Do no murder and whatnot. Other than that, they should never have that power. The second thing we ought to consider is that our power, the power of government, should be closer to us. It shouldn't be way off over yonder where those people don't know us or anything about us. This is one of the reasons that I believe that the states ought to have more power than the people that are in Washington. That's just what I think. How do you feel about Queen Elizabeth being the head of the church? I don't agree with it, and I believe that John Knox had it right. Read a book called A Blast of the Trumpet Against the Monstrous Regiment of Women by John Knox, and you will know exactly what I think. I find the monkey flinging poo to be quite expected, but I'm a cynic. Well, it's predictable, and we predicted it. All right. Daniel Carr said he's here for a few minutes. All right. I'm not a time traveler, so I just get to watch it and play it out. That's exactly right. I get to watch it in different time periods. But they have too much power, and that's the point. And if we have to have a rant for today, that's going to be the rant. I would prefer to get your questions and have more of them to talk about, but they have too much power. None of them, thank you, Jackie, I appreciate it. None of them should have that much power. They should not have the power. You should not lose sleep or have a queasy stomach about the election coming up. You should, because we know what's really going on. But in a good form of government, you shouldn't worry about it. We should already have a system, and in America they have one. It's called the Constitution of the United States, that says they're not allowed to do stuff. 90% of what they do, they're not allowed to do it. And if they're not allowed to do it, then I'm not worried about them. But I'm worried about them because they've taken upon themselves the authority to do stuff they have no right to do. Now, if the power was more closer to the people in the city council or the county government or the state, you got remedies. And a lot of those remedies are biblical. And John Knox, in the aforementioned book, talked about those remedies. Samuel Rutherford did too. I highly recommend. You're not going to go read the John Knox book. Thank you, War Dog Heim, for that. It has been a while, but hopefully everybody else will get the hint. Appreciate the $20 super chat. But I don't even remember what I was saying. I got distracted. The whole point is they have too much power. What we should be seeing is a devolution of centralized power. They have too much. So, like I said, you're not going to read the John Knox book. Almost 99.9% of you are not going to go read it. So go read Samuel Rutherford. He's got a teeny book. It's teeny. It's called Lex Rex. Read it. Your government here is based on it. Samuel Rutherford was the inspirational, intellectual, and philosophical father of the system of government that evolved after the revolution. All right. They aren't allowed. How do you stop them? I suppose all you can do is take care of your own. I've written some books about that. That power is going to come apart at some point, maybe in my lifetime. And what you can do about that is don't allow those people to educate your children. Educate them yourself. If you've already done that, then begin to re-educate them. Spend your time, especially during COVID, if your children aren't at school, deprogramming them and teaching them about the proper foundations of government. The aforementioned book, Lex Rex, is a great one for you to read and to read with your children. The title of the John Knox books is A Blast of the Trumpet Against the Monstrous Regiment of Women. I get myself into a trouble every time I answer questions, but that's what I'm here for. So if you read the book, I think you'll get something out of it. And so that's where we are. We got people that have way too much power. We're worried about who the Supreme Court justice is going to be, whether you're on the left or the right. People on the left are worried, and they have every right to be worried. They have philosophical underpinnings that are at risk. People on the right are worried. They have every right to be worried. I'm not one of those people that looks at those other people that disagree with me and says, oh, they're all stupid. They're not stupid. They could be wrong, but they're not stupid. Most of them aren't. Most people are stupid. Let me just say that. They're not any more stupid than my side is. The problem is that they are legitimately concerned that somebody is going to take the shit and break it more than it's already broken. And that's legitimate. The question is not, how do we keep putting duct tape on this thing? The question is, how do we rip back power from those people? And I don't have a solution. I think it's going to happen naturally. And then if we've raised our children up so that they have some kind of wisdom as to what should happen, when we're forming whatever's after the smoke dies, after the ashes drift down and the temperature is cooled back down or whatever, after the sun is now clear in the blue sky, however many people have died after all that's happened, maybe we could sit around and we can say, hey, let's do something. This is going to be out of left field, y'all. This is going to be way out there. But what if we don't give government that much power? What if we don't let them do it? What if we say, here's the thing, and this happened before, we're going to stay armed, and we're going to say no. That's really your only fundamental right. I hear about fundamental rights. Your only fundamental right is to say no and to either resist or pay the consequences of saying no. Nothing else is really that fundamental. And the problem is that we, the people, have not said no, and not as authoritatively as we should have. There should be something with which we all agree. And that is, those people have too much power. Now you have the left and you have the right, but you also have a cabal of people that works across all those lines that really run everything. And the reason that they're able to really run everything is because we've allowed all of them to get away from the principal documents that form the nation. And so it's nothing now for your neighbor to go and scream that your shit should be taken and given to them or somebody else. Your rights, your freedom, your property, your money, whatever it is. That's nothing today. That's par for the course. Ownership of things is now like under question. And so my last show was critical for your understanding, and that is that there has been a process starting with the Industrial Revolution and moving forward after that to disenfranchise you and to separate you from the land, to separate, and by I mean disenfranchise means taking away your vote, which doesn't have to be the Soviet Union disenfranchised the citizens even though they are all allowed to vote. You can have the ability to vote and still be disenfranchised because your vote really means nothing. The same people stay in power. The same people are still doing stuff, right? And so you're being separated from the land, which is fundamental to freedom. It's fundamental. Families are being destroyed because the family is the building block of the civilization. The thing that they're at war against, the war that's really taking place right now, is not left versus right. It is people that want to destroy Western civilization, and people think that's probably done some pretty good things, and we ought to keep it, and we ought to probably rip back power from the criminal class who have corrupted it. That's really the war that's taking place. You can say it's urban versus rural. That's just the way it manifests. But the real war is that there are people out there right-minded who realize that the depravity of humanity, total depravity, means that when we are coalesced, when you distill down our depravity and you give all of that distillate to a small percentage of the people who are answerable to nobody, that's a bad thing. You have taken sin and you have distilled it and given the power of it to a small group of people. The best thing that ever happened was the proposal that people be left alone and that the magistrates be handcuffed. The magistrates can be handcuffed, which means they don't get to do stuff. There's stuff they're not allowed to do. Is this new to anybody? You ever hear this on the news? This used to be the way we were supposed to think. Tom Clancy had a solution for cleaning the slate. I think that maybe perhaps we ought to do some research into that. No is our fundamental right in being lazy. It hasn't been done in a way too long, and too many willing to sit back and do nothing other than tell you what to do. That's who we are. We're a nation of busybodies looking at our neighbor and demanding that somebody make them act the way we want them to act. Now we're making them think the way they can't even just like privately think it. They can't even think on their own. They got to think exactly the way we want them to think. This is a disaster. It's like the worst case scenario. All right. The fundamental power of the politician is the lie. That's true. Want to do something you aren't allowed? Concoct a clever story that makes it possible. Starting in the garden, propaganda is the weapon of choice. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. Anybody who doesn't think that a lawyer can come up with anything, the whole idea that you can indict a ham sandwich came from the idea that any action, any thought, any process, any behavior can be called criminal. And it can when you've let bureaucrats and lawyers criminalize everything, so that the only things that are allowed are right think, which means whoever has grasped the reins of power gets to decide how everybody has to think. They've criminalized everything. And so the human mind is capable of justifying any behavior and anything. And it's one of the problems that we have going on right now. As you know, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump voter. But they have decided that everything this guy does is a crime. Now, some things he does are a crime against good taste, and they're a crime against right behavior, and they're a crime against a lot of other things. But a lot of things, almost every single thing the guy says, somebody's out there saying it's a crime. And then we open up an investigation and we spend millions of dollars, when in reality, that guy shouldn't have any power. He's supposed to be a wonk. That's the way it was designed. He's supposed to be like, if we have a war or something like that goes on, and he's a wonk that like, helps get stuff in the right place and helps make sure it gets paid for and all that kind of stuff. You're watching me from the doctor's office. Well, tell the doctor I said hi. Tell him don't do anything crazy. Hello, Joe. Good to see you guys. Hey, if you got questions or comments, get them in here. I've gone on a little bit of rant just because there weren't enough questions coming in, but we need some questions. I also I don't have COVID, but I got an itchy nose. And I don't want to just sit here and keep running. I got allergies. That's what I got going on. Oh. All right. So I'm waiting for your questions and comments. I know I've probably alienated just about everybody. And some of you are like shocked and appalled that somebody actually said something that maybe you haven't heard before. But that's what I think. And what I think doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Hopefully, out of all of that, you got that perhaps you could be educating people. Rather than yelling at people and trying to take their stuff and trying to get them to think like you think, perhaps you should be educating people that the people who have the power over your life shouldn't have it. All right, Hannah, thank you. The questions don't have to be political. In fact, I prefer if they aren't. They can be about anything. That's one thing I do here on the Bunker Nation show is I open myself up. That doesn't mean I'm going to answer any question. Well, you may think what I think matters, but in the long run, it really doesn't. I'm just a guy out here without power who doesn't even have running water, who's going to turn this show off in a little while. And I'm going to go up there and try to get the truck running because it's dead. Hopefully everybody's going to like the show. Just hit the like button. It doesn't look like we've had very many likes yet. Hit the like button. Go over to YouTube after we're done. Leave a comment. We've been doing pretty good on likes on YouTube, but we're not doing that good as far as subscribes, and we're not doing that good as far as people leaving comments. Are imaginary friends demonic? Well, that depends. I don't know what your imagination is like. It certainly could be. They certainly could not be. I have no idea. If they're telling you to do bad stuff, that's why we have the rule of law, which is for us is the scriptures. If they're telling you to do bad stuff, if you're actually believing that they are real, then it's perhaps. But a lot of people are just crazy. You could be crazy. I don't know what you mean by imaginary friends. I've never had one, so I don't know. What we all think does matter as long as we stay out of everyone else's business. All right, I'm with you. Where are you in your fall canning? We didn't have a crop this year. This was an off year for us, so we don't have any fall canning going on. We canned a ton of meat. That's what happened. Would not term limits be a good thing? No, I'm against term limits, and let me tell you why. Term limits just it's just admitting that the system is corrupted and broken. And instead of saying, let's fix the system, term limits is saying, here's what we need to do. We need to restrict more of your rights. So let's just say in this system, this is a hypothetical, that I have the right to vote for anybody I want to. I can vote for the guy who's in office. I can vote for his wife. I can vote for whoever I want to vote for. All you're doing with term limits is you're going to the people who didn't break things, who didn't do things wrong, and saying you no longer have the right to vote for this person. Our elected leaders are a representation of ourselves and our character. Hate to tell you that. You get what you are. They are an exact perfect mirror of what America is. We don't get righteousness by restricting rights of individuals. Individuals should have the right to vote for anybody they want to vote for, qualified or not. If they're not qualified, perhaps you throw out their ballot, but they have the right to vote for whoever they want. They can write in Donald Duck. You could write in Michael Bunker. You could write in Sirhan if you want. I don't like term limits because it's the people who broke things who need to be addressed, not the people who are voting. That's not the answer. The answer is that you take away the power of the people you're voting for. We restrict their ability to harm us, to take our things, to destroy our property, to put us in jail for nonviolent crimes. We restrict their ability to pick us up off the streets and question us in Guantanamo. We restrict their ability to do things that are harmful to us. We restrict their ability to use a full SWAT team because we had orchids growing in the backyard. We restrict their ability to throw Molotov cocktails at the police. Let's stop that and not restrict more of our individual rights, which are protected. And voting for whoever I want to ought to be one of those that's protected. I'd like to have a Juris Doctor degree being a disqualification. Okay. Perhaps we can put restrictions on people's ability to hold office, but I don't agree with restricting people's ability to vote for whoever they want. Are you and Danielle planning on voting? Boy, I haven't asked Danielle, but I'm not. I'm not going to. And I have a long list of reasons why I don't. But the main reason why is I refuse to put my stamp of approval on the system because the system is broken. I didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on me. If my system was a biblical system that existed in Texas, for example, I would vote in Texas. But I'm not going to vote for a federal government that is occupying my people. And my people are free men and women everywhere who are being encroached. I don't believe in voting on the less of two evils because I don't believe in voting for evil. Every argument that I'm wasting my vote, every argument that I am shunning my responsibility, I don't care what you think. I do what I want. I'm a free man. They can put me in jail for that. If you don't like it, that's just the way it is. All right. Any movie news? Nothing right now. I need to probably do some checking up on things, but we're still kind of in waiting mode. I know that Hollywood is starting to unwind. Things are starting to get done. Things are starting to move a little bit. There's some productions being done, but I have not had any news lately. The producer of the movie just had a baby, and so I've been kind of not asking any questions, just being prayerfully hopeful that both the baby is healthy and that she's healthy and that the fires aren't hurting people and all of that kind of stuff. And then at some point when it's apropos, I'll probably ask some questions. I vote for other than lesser of two evils. Good for you. I'm fine with that. I don't judge people who vote, and I don't expect to be judged for not voting, although I will be. Can I cast Zach McGowan in your movie? I can't cast anybody, but I don't know who Zach McGowan is, so I can't do it. And for everybody who says that hands down they'd watch it, there's somebody else who would hands down watch it if it had Zach Galifianakis in it. But I have nothing. I can't even get myself cast in the movie. I hope my hard work, this body transformation that's been going on, I hope it gets me cast in the movie. I hope my sense of humor and my overall amiable personality gets me cast in the movie. All right. If you guys have any questions or comments, we're at 38 minutes. We still got some time. If you got to type them in, it could be about anything you want to talk about. Every time somebody asks me what I think, then I get in trouble. So that's where we are. I'm waiting for you guys. If I missed any questions, I'm sorry. So yeah, we're not doing any fall canning. We've got almost all of our pork canned, not all of it. We still got some more that's frozen right now, but no judgment for you for not voting. Would have been surprised if you planned to, as you eschew all things. That's right. I'm wearing Englisher clothes, but this shirt cost me $1. That's the only reason. Anything new for the BunkFit channel? I've been working on some stuff, but until I get critical point, I would like to get this power sorted. We're about $500 from getting it done. I got 2 of the batteries bought. I've got some other ancillary equipment done. I need about 4 more batteries, and then the power will be sorted. If I don't get it done before the election, I have a feeling that this show is not going to be on through the winter. Days are already getting shorter. We're already losing solar. I need to be able to capture that solar, and right now we're not capturing any of it. So it's getting to be critical. And every time that we've gotten close, something's come up, some disasters come up. But I would like to, in the next 10 days, to be able to buy the batteries that I need to get the solar power working. And if that happens, I I don't have the power to edit a video, which is why I'm doing all my videos live. It takes 5 to 6 hours to do that, and I can't run the laptop for that long. You're going to vote for me next election. Okay, if I'm elected, I will immediately open an investigation into my own administration, in which time I will call for myself to be impeached. I will fire everybody and do everything I can to restrict the power of government in the 5 minutes that I'm in office before I have myself removed and escorted from the property. I've gotten below 210 pounds because of your example. All right, man. If you get under 190, you'll be under me. I'm back to 190, which is where I'm the direction I'm trying to move. Tell you, Bunker, knowing you for all these years, seeing you over the past few months in societal clothing is a shock every time you post a pic. All right, I'm not used to it either. I don't even get to see myself. So when I actually see myself, I take a picture because it's weird. So it's weird all the time. And I put on these cheap clothes that I get at the thrift store, and that's the way it's going right now. All right, y'all. I'm still waiting on you. If you got questions or comments, anything else, we still got time for a mini rant. Oh, the battery's running low. We got to close. I'm sorry. The laptop's about to go off. If you want to help, please hit the like button. Go to YouTube as soon as this video is over. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button there and leave a comment. If everybody watching this right now left a comment, even if it's just, hey, I think you're crazy, that would be great, and it would help YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you don't mind, go to michaelbunker.com. There's a donate sponsorship button you can click on there. Some people do like $5 or $10 a month to help us, and you can also make a donation for our battery pack. I need $500. I sound like Pat Robertson or Oral Roberts. I need $500, and God's going to call me home. That's not true. He may do it anyway. All right, y'all. I got to go. I appreciate you. The battery's going dead. Love y'all. Got to go get the truck started. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, maybe it'll be the next day. As always, I love you all, and I'll see you when I see you.